designation. Oh, thank you. My CRS and my Certified New Home Specialist designations and served on the board as president in 2018. I've had a great opportunity over this course of my years to train and mentor numerous agents. And it's what I love to do the most, besides working with clients, that is. But real estate has been my passion, my profession, and to be honest with you, my daily adventure. And I'm excited to be here with all of you and Lorrie and take you on this little bit of a journey for an hour. And we're going to get going. So, Lorrie, tell them.
Perfect. I'm Lorrie Maiorano, for anyone who doesn't know me, and I've had the privilege of working in the real estate industry for the past 22 years, not quite as long as Joel. And throughout my career, I've learned that staying informed and continuously educating myself is really key to providing the best services I could to my clients. And like many of you, I pursued designations and certifications along the way to bring additional value to those I work with. And it's truly given me a deeper appreciation for the evolving tools and resources that we have available to us as professionals. And sometimes we don't know about those, which led us here to RPR. I've also had the honor of serving the association in 2023 and 2024 as your president, and I'm currently the immediate past president. But Joel has said, you know, real estate is an adventure.
It sure is an adventure. It's an adventure right now, isn't it?
And every day is a new adventure.
Right.
And today's adventure is all about RPR, the Realtor Property Resource. So whether you're working with buyers or sellers, and we're going to talk about both today, or investors, you can, you know, give your clients a competitive edge with this technology. It's powerful data. There's market insights, and there's shareable on-the-go scripts that you can create and share no matter where you are. So I'm excited about how this can make your business more efficient. And
Right, and it's going to be somewhat of a high-level discussion today. So, you know, to get deep into the weeds, we'll need probably a 3-hour class, but certainly you'll get enough to walk away with from here. But before we get started, we're just curious who we have in the room, and out there in Zoom land, you guys can put it in the chat. But who's here less than a year in business? There we go. Great, too.
Perfect.
Wonderful. Welcome.
glad you're here.
Yeah. Less than 5? Who's more than 5? Great. Glad to see everybody here. Yeah. I was going to go a little higher than that, but I said, nah, you know, better not do that.
Who's been here longer than Joel?
Marty.
I'm only 38.
Oh, you're only 38. Wow.
But I
Okay.
did it 19 years illegally before.
Back in the day.
None of us heard that.
Yeah, we didn't hear that. So,
But the point is always continue to educate yourself. Whether you're new, keep coming. If you've been here a while, you know, not just RPR, but anything out there. We're in a very evolving industry.
right, and just keep in mind, you know, 42 years ago, we were probably writing contracts on stone tablets. All right, so we've come a long way, and you know, this new program, RPR has been around for I forget how many years now. It's been mostly a desktop version, and everything that you can do on your desktop will reflect into the mobile app, and vice versa. So anything you do there, any of your work will follow you around. So if you need something pretty quickly, you'll get it. So
So I just want to take a moment to tell you what RPR is. So RPR is an NAR technology, wholly owned subsidy. And its database is for residential and commercial purposes. It's built exclusively for realtors. There is no consumer access to this, and there's no additional charge. We actually get this as a benefit with our NAR dues. So we've all heard recently saying, you know, what do we get for our dues? This is one thing that you get that a lot of us, whether it's 1 year or 45 years, don't know that this exists. So this is one of our dues benefits that we get from NAR. And again, no consumer access. This isn't a Zillow, and this technology is more in depth and better than Zillow's, frankly.
So on that note, what's important
Wrong
to
way.
know is this is not a public-facing program. It's strictly for realtor use. All right, you can share information, but the public can't get on there at all whatsoever. So it's only for us.
And So where does it fit into your business? It fits in just like anything else. It's not intended to replace the MLS. We certainly have the MLS, which we all need. That's a class for another day if you need it. But the MLS also has their app, which is fantastic. This is in addition to, not meant to be in place of. So we have, your broker is there to support you. The MLS is there to support you. NER is there to support you. NHMR is here to support you. But this is just a tool that you can take and bring your business to the next level.
Okay, so I want somebody to tell me, either you guys can put it in chat or in the room, what was the sold to list price of houses in Guilford for January? Can anybody tell me that?
So I'm gonna start sharing this.
101.
Oh, let's see. Because
I'm going to start.
it's actually under trends. You'd be able to pull that information up immediately. It was actually 98.2%. Sellers are not getting full price, at least what closed in January in Guilford, right? And some of you that are work the Guilford market may be seeing that. Others may have different experiences within your companies. But according to all the information that's been aggregated,
And let me show you where Joel's getting that information. So let me put that over there. So Joel just went to, if you look at this button here. So the button's all the way at the bottom, it's trends. And that's down low.
gotta get your screen
Yeah,
on.
yeah, let me fix my screen.
Yeah, full view. Yeah, the screen.
No, I don't think that'll work.
Where's Nick when we need Nick?
No,
Anyway, on your phones, you'll see it.
it's all the way at the bottom. It says trends. So all I did is click
You have to
trends.
scroll up.
Right.
It's all the way at the bottom. It's down here in the blue. So see down there, trends? So that's what I clicked. That's all I clicked. This little button down there, trends. It's when I hit this. So it GPSed me to where we are, Guilford Center, Guilford, Connecticut. But say I want Wallingford. I'm just going to type Wallingford, and it's going to take me to the trends there. And this is giving us single family, condo, townhouse. Let's say I just want single family. So we're getting a little bit ahead, but that's where your trends button is pretty dynamic to give you this information on the go. And
So why I did that is because how many times have you been out and someone's asked you, how's the market? Right? And what do we all say? Hey, who's my buddy that used to say, who said unbelievable? Who taught us to say unbelievable? Who?
Hopkins?
Tom Hopkins, exactly. So typically what I would say when somebody asks me is, oh, it's unbelievable. Not too often, but I will say, thank you for asking. How can I help you? All right. We got a lot of veterans in the room for people that are new. This is, at the end of the day, we're in the helping business, but we're also in a sales business. So, when someone's asking a question, how many times have you answered, oh my God, it's crazy. People are doing this. Buyers are backing out. Sellers want more money, blah, 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 blah. And that person that just asked you how the market is may have something for you.
so let's jump into our buyer scenarios. So we're going to go back in. We're working with so our scenario is we're working with a buyer. And again, this isn't to replace the MLS, but a buyer says they want to search for available properties for sale or for lease. The point here is we want to show you that little button up on top that I just clicked, the 3 dots up there. You can see for sale, for lease, you can shut that off, and you can also search public records if you choose to. So maybe something is not on the market and you want to look and see what that is. So for this example, we're going to search for sale. And I don't want to include all, I just want to look at single family homes. Maybe I don't want the pendings, I just want to see what's active. So I'm going to apply those settings and I can pull up any property. So they want to search, you might be in that hypothetical scenario that Joel just said, he's shopping at the supermarket and they ask about what's for sale. You can do that right there from your phone very quickly instead of running through a whole search in MLS.
And let me jump in on that too. And keep in mind, if they ask you, hey, there's a property on 123 Banana Street in Guilford. that just came, I saw a sign go up. Can you tell me about it? All right, and you have that access right here very, very quickly, very quickly. All the details about that property you'll get.
And-
Owner information, tons of information
Yep,
that
and
you
we'll
can use.
dive a little deeper into that. So we're going to jump into that next scenario, which is your buyer is ready to make an offer on a property, and you need to provide them with more information and guide them towards a decision. So access a mortgage calculator. So again, we've all been out there with buyers, and they say, "Well, how much is that going to cost me?"
So pull up one of the,
Yep. So, and there's a couple of ways I want to show you. You see the map search here, but you can also slide this up. I'm just sliding that up with my finger. Slide that up to see them in list form if you don't want the map form. So we're going to pick one of these properties. We're going to pick this one. And your buyer says, "How much is this going to cost me?" You scroll about halfway down, and you're going to come across a mortgage calculator. But now you want to edit it because it may be different. Say your buyer is putting 20% down. So your buyer is going to put 20% down. Let's say the interest rate is 7%. And they're going to do a 15-year loan. And the property taxes are, oh no, it had the exact, but we're going to raise them. Homeowner's insurance, we're going to estimate. And there's your quick mortgage calculator while you're standing in a property with a buyer. It's a ballpark, just like we use any other mortgage calculator, but it's a quick open your app, get to the property. It GPSs if you're standing in there. And if you're standing in that hypothetical grocery store, you can do the very same thing.
How do you get the calculator again? 'Cause
Click on a property.
Yeah, show them again on the screen.
Yep, click on a property. Now I'm going to scroll halfway down
Yeah, go.
on when I have a property open. And there's your mortgage calculator. You're welcome.
So you can print that if you want.
And
And keep in mind, if you're in your desktop, this is the same information you'll have in your desktop version.
so now I'm in that home. Now my buyer knows what this property is going to cost me. But now I want to know if there's any quick comparables nearby without running back to my desktop or my computer to see that. So I'm just going to click on comps. Sorry?
You did that too fast.
Okay.
Yeah, go slow down a little bit.
Okay, so I'm still in a property. I've clicked on a random property. So we're standing in there. So halfway down was that mortgage calculator. A little bit up from the mortgage calculator are these buttons here.
So you can check schools,
Just below the
traffic.
map.
There's your comp button. Listings, directions. Yep.
You have to be in a property to see this.
Yeah, now I see.
Okay. So if I'm standing in that property and I've just talked about what it's going to cost them using the mortgage calculator, I'm going to scroll back up to the top a little bit, just below the map, and I'm going to quickly click comps, and it's going to give me a radius of comparable properties. But let's say I only want comparables south of 95. I'm going to click, see up here, remove boundary. That button right there. I'm going to remove the boundary. And then I'm going to click draw at the bottom there. And then I'm going to select the comps I want just below 95. And I did that with my finger. So now I'm taking just comparables in the area that I want them. This is just a quick view while you're with a client. Does anybody have questions?
Yeah, we got to, she's on, she's like the Energizer bunny. She's
Could
like-
you redo that?
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Go back to
Okay, let me go back.
So,
Yep.
yeah, we got time more, so
Yep,
it's
okay.
only 5 to 12, so.
I'm going to go back. All right, let's go back. So where we're starting is in a property. So either click on a blue dot or pull this up from the bottom. So see that little line there? If you put your finger on that and slide up, you will see properties, and you don't have to click on a dot on the map.
We probably should put a price point in there.
Yeah.
So you're gonna bring up all the listings.
Okay, so is everyone with us so far? So then click on a property.
So let's look at this one's pending. 50 Gould Lane in Branford. So you notice we're outside of Guilford. And that's based on the way Lorrie wanted to see, what's going on around the shoreline. What's happening in Guilford, maybe what's happening in Branford, what's happening up in Madison, so that you can get a bit more granular and deep in the weeds with your client right there on the spot.
But what I want to really
Bring it up a little
talk
higher.
about here is
Bring it up
the
higher.
buttons.
Yeah, bring it up on your screen so it's more at the top.
Like this.
Yeah, a little more. You guys see that? Okay.
So when you're in a property, all of this matters when you're in a property. You can talk about any of these things, the school, the traffic, the comps, the listings, the directions.
There's the POI, the
Points
point
of
of interest.
So if someone's from out of state and they say, what's around here? You can open RPR. It GPSs to where you're standing. You click on that property, so you're in the property, and you go to just below that map area, and you can click on points of interest.
I just brought a client that I moved from Connecticut 20 years ago. She's coming back to Connecticut. She's in Cranston and looking in the Middletown, Berlin area. Had no idea. And we used this and said, here's what's around you. And she was thrilled.
And the
Just-
other, if you're going to use points of interest, you can edit it. So if your client's asking you a specific question, you click edit points of interest, and you only click on what they're interested to see what's around there.
Lorrie, where's the points of interest on the app? Where is it?
You have to be in a property just below the map. So it's just below where it says view all map layers. There's a bunch of buttons just above that. I know I talk fast. Slow me down.
Slow down. Slow down. It's only 2 minutes to 12.
Somehow I got to Ridge, New York. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, so you got to where in New York?
Ridge, New York.
All right, so this is interesting, and some of it, they don't really share too much about it, but you can search properties out of state. It depends if the MLS system is reporting to RPR. All right, if they are, go to Boston.
I saw the question come up in the chat that you're not seeing that. Just so you know, you have to be in a property to see that. So you have to click on a house. So we'll go back to either the map or the list. You can come from any direction here. You can click on a dot on the map, or you can pull up your list.
It might have to swipe over when it wasn't showing on mine either. There were too many dots to show them all across the screen.
Right.
So
Okay.
I swiped over and allowed that other one to pop up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to be in a property in order to see the next steps.
So
Hey, Lorrie,
when you guys,
I have I have a quick question. When I'm putting the town in and just trying to do a search, it's not bringing any properties up. So I looked at my criteria and I don't understand why it's not, I looked at it to make sure the filters are right, active, under contract, pending. I
Do you have a
applied.
remove boundary button on the map?
Yes.
Click that. Sometimes you have to remove the boundaries, and it's inadvertently, I've done it myself, set boundaries that you don't want set. And when you click remove boundary, they'll all pop up.
so there's another setting too that you guys need to know about, and it's under your menu, under your user settings.
Mm-hmm.
and there's a button called override location. All right, so if you have it checked on yes, that means it's going to stay in
There was
whatever
a
town.
connectivity error. Please try again.
That's on your internet.
That's a user error.
That's, so that user setting button, I keep mine to no on the override. So that way, like right now, I'm in Guilford. When I open the app, it's giving me everything about Guilford. If I decide to go to East Haven, it's automatically going to give me everything for East Haven. Or you have to either go in here and override it and then start plugging in another zip code.
So I'm going to go back a little bit more. I'm going to go back to the beginning. So, okay. I am walking in the supermarket and I bump into Joel, and Joel says, "Oh my God, tell me about that house that's over on," somebody yell out an address.
Horseshoe Drive.
Horseshoe Drive?
God, I hope there's one there.
One word or two, Tom.
So you're going under,
I'm just going to do
yeah. So do your
Okay.
numbers, just wheel it down to like
Okay,
between 500 and 600.
Because you have a house number listed?
No, you can do it this way. I just don't know if this house exists.
Who-
Um,
Yeah, who has a listing they want us
Okay,
to bring
you know
up?
what, I'll do a listing.
Just do a listing.
Okay.
All right.
So I popped in a listing and it's gonna bring, I bump into Joel, he asked me about this house. So I pop in the address and there it is.
37 Soundview Heights in Branford.
And so Joel, what would you want to know about this house?
All right, so you know what, I'm really interested in knowing what the taxes are on that.
You scroll down, it has all your information there.
Yeah, did you put in Smart MLS?
You can of course use Smart MLS as well.
No. The question is, if you guys are putting the app, if you're registering yourselves right now, you need to put in Smart MLS,
Yes.
in user settings. Otherwise, it's not going to know. And if you're in two MLSs, you can also do that as well too.
Maybe Joel says, I see where it is. It's near the water, but what else is around there? That's where I'd go to, just below the map where it says view all map layers, and I would click points of interest. That's cool. And again, you could swipe up with your finger. You can edit that and say you don't care about where the gas stations are or the in-home services. You want to know where
Oh, the ATM, I need to know where the ATMs are.
you need to know where the ATMs are.
Absolutely.
So then I just click apply and it changes my points of interest. Now that's a very dialed in map. If I want to make it bigger like any other map, you can.
All right, so we have a question. I do not see the taxes. So you want to go back to the property,
Yep, go back to the property
right?
and it should be in the property facts. It's not
No, it's there. Taxes are in there.
public.
You're in the wrong thing. Go back to the main page. There you go. Pull up the property again. See, it's taking its what time searching.
I'll just pick
So
another
it's-
property.
yeah.
I'm just going to pick a different property.
There you go. All right, so everything should be in here. Basic facts, description.
When you click on the mortgage,
More.
that's just the description. When you click on the mortgage calculator, it brings up the taxes.
It should be in there.
There's a,
Wasn't that it? Estimated?
yep. So the taxes are 12,487. So it's listed in the property details if it's listed there. If not, you can always find it in the mortgage calculator as well. Let's move on to a different scenario. This way we
You're on time.
Okay.
You got plenty of time.
want to get to the seller side too.
Yeah, oh, you'll get there.
So you're showing
Okay.
the property. We talked about that.
Yep.
And then your
So there's the other buttons
Okay.
that you guys have access to on here.
is
are-
reports. So can you see down here on the bottom? I'm not going to highlight it, but down here it says reports. That'll go away. So another scenario, they want to know what a neighborhood report. You can click on that button. You would click create report. And then for any house that you had in there or anywhere you are that's GPSing you, you can create a buyer tour, a school report, a neighborhood report. So if you wanted to know, and you can uncheck what you don't want in it, and you can email or download. You click run report, and that's going to take a few moments for the report to come up, but as soon as it does, I'll open it up. If you're in that house, that's the same scenario we were talking about. You're in the house, you're talking to your buyer, and they want to know a little bit more about the neighborhood. You can run a quick neighborhood report, and you can email it to them right there.
Hey, let's
I have
slow
some
down
other-
for a second. So what, do you have any questions in the room here? You guys are
The
playing.
last one, when I pulled up taxes on that last address we were looking at, it pulled up 0.
It pulled up, was that new construction?
No, it
Was
was,
it?
she just showed me on her phone.
Yeah.
It's the same address, mine says 0.
So go down to mortgage calculator
Yeah.
and click edit, and you'll see the taxes in there. Because that breaks it down.
It shows 0. Shows 0.
What the hell is that?
Okay, setting.
Holy mackerel.
Okay, yeah,
Hold on.
that's odd. I don't know the answer to that.
The good news is there is a help button.
Well, I know there's taxes.
Yeah, and we know there's taxes.
And we can always fall back on opening the MLS. This is intended to be quick when you're out in the field. You have your phone. We all have our phones in our hands, right? We're talking to somebody. Instead of saying, oh, let me get back to you, we can get answers. And if you know what, if it's coming up at 0, let me get back to you on that. What other questions do you have? But this is intended to be just some quick facts that you can share with your clients while you're out in the field, when you bump into them, when you're at that cocktail party, you know, when you're with family and friends and they have questions and you have your phone in your hand, you have all this data in your hand. You don't have to get back to them at some other point in time. And this is just a neighborhood report for Branford. So I clicked generate reports, where I click down here, reports at the bottom there. So reports. And then I generated a report and I clicked view. And now if I want to share it with my client, I can share it with Joel. And then I'm texting it. So Joel just got a text with that neighborhood report. And this is what he's seeing on his phone from me.
We'll have to check with them and ask them about the taxes because
taxes.
it should be there. So if you scroll up a little bit more, there's some additional resources in here that you have access to. And you'd want to go in it because they take you outside of the program, but there's one that'll allow you to analyze investment potential of a property. There's also a climate change risk rating
Those
that
are
you can
these
access,
here.
especially if you're working with people here on the shoreline. They might want to have an idea because that's going to affect.
These are third-party systems that have partnered with RPR.
Yep. Snaptimate, you may want to go through some of these. That will allow you to help somebody get an idea of what home improvements may cost. So if you're in a house that definitely needs work, people, we all know if something costs $1,000, in their minds, it's $10,000, right? So that'll help you. There's also, for those who need it, an AARP livability index, all right? So they'll score that. As you further go, the listing agent's information is there, telephone number, email. So if you need to get a hold of them right away, you can do so.
Say,
It's just continually scrolling up through
so
that.
you're in
listing.
anything we're doing,
Yep.
you're in a property. I've clicked
Yep.
on a property.
Yep.
So I clicked on a random property, and as we scrolled down, we talked about the map and these other buttons here. And then we went down a little further. We talked about the mortgage calculator. And if you go down just below that, it says additional resources. And that's where you see all of these additional resources. So we're in this house and you know it needs something. You can always click on, it's going to tell you you're leaving RPR.
Yeah, and we're not going to get deep
We're
in the
not,
weeds on that
that's a
stuff.
class for another day.
Yeah, you guys can do that on your own, but I would definitely explore all the opportunities that you have within the app, right, because it's very helpful. Taxes show up under property history record, then tax news. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you. Did everyone hear that? So taxes show up, property history. Effects.
Here's your schools, listing history right there. Show more details,
Those are the old one.
legal description.
There we go. Text. So there's your text. Thank you, Jessica. So that's almost all the way, again, starting in a property, scroll all the way down. That's at the very bottom. We talked about the buttons. We talked about the map. We talked about the mortgage calculator. This is way below that. This is almost at the bottom of that one property record.
Thank you.
Deed. You have mortgage, and you have tax info.
Go back to the mortgage info. That could be really helpful in today's world, right? To know what people have for a mortgage on their property, especially if we're going in on the listing.
This was part of the seller's portion of it.
Yeah.
We kind of jumped ahead a little.
Well, yeah, and you'll see that, a lot of what we're looking at in here is also beneficial. So if you get a phone call from a seller, and we can move right into that. When you get a phone call from a potential seller and you're in your car or wherever you are, you can pull up the address and get a lot of detail right there on the spot.
And there's your book and page number too, if anyone still goes down to town hall.
I would hope everybody still goes to town hall. I know all of us in this room go to town hall, right?
What do we have for the next scenario?
So do you want to shift out of buyer and move over? Do you want to,
Analyze the neighborhood.
Yep.
Does anybody have any other questions of what we covered so far working with buyers? No.
I just wanted to mention on the reports.
Yep.
I don't know if you can do it on the app, but you can definitely customize those
Yep.
reports.
That's right.
So they're more specific to what you want.
And that's actually a very good point. What you do on your desktop is available on your app, and what you do on your app, when you get back to your desktop, it's going to be there.
Right.
So
So
you
that,
can change out the pages and
Yes.
stuff.
Yep.
on the
Absolutely.
phone, on the app.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when you click reports, before you hit run report,
Yeah.
that's when it allows you to check or uncheck.
Awesome.
yeah, and when you're in there, in either on the app or within the desktop version, there's a button called My Work. And when you click on My Work, that's where you're going to see everything that you've been doing.
Hello.
Hello? Somebody have a question out there? Or just saying hello? All right.
They were there just saying,
Hey, Joel, I have a question.
Sure.
It's Roberta. If you remove the link when going back a few steps, removing the boundary,
Mhm.
how do you put the boundary back in? if it got too big and too unwieldy and you want to narrow the scope down again, how do you go back and put the boundary in without having to get out of the system and go back in again?
There's a couple options in the lower right-hand side of your screen that either say radius or draw, and you're going to pick one of those.
I don't have that. I have 26 properties. It's telling me how many properties I have. It's got a plus, a blue circle that says more, and I have the arrow, but I don't have the draw button.
Interesting, she doesn't have a draw button.
You have this blue arrow.
Yeah, I had the blue arrow. Let me hit
Make
that.
your map a little smaller or bigger.
Yeah, but she doesn't have the draw button.
I've got it. Well, I click on it and it's not doing anything. Let me hit more. Nope, more is not doing it.
Make
All
your
right,
map
so
smaller or bigger. So zoom in or zoom out.
But what you're missing
Or-
is she doesn't have the
okay.
draw button.
So click that little, see the 3 buttons in the top right there?
Yep.
And reset your settings. So reset all. You might have clicked on something that's blocking you. So just click reset all.
you know, this hasn't gone as well as I kind of hoped because now I can't. I've got the map in front of me, but I'm gonna have to hit home because I don't have the three. I don't have the search that you have. So let me hit search.
No, look up here. Do you have
No. Nope. I don't have the screen you have. I actually did Cheshire, properties in Cheshire, and I got 26 of them, but I can't get rid of, now the boundary is.
You're in trends. So hit the bottom left where it says search. Click this button.
All right, hold on.
Click that button right there. The little
I'm
icon.
looking to see where where are you hitting? Oh, search down the bottom. Yep. Okay. Search. Yep.
I think you were in trends. Now
Okay. Now I've got the little bar at the top. And so,
now hit the bar at the top.
okay. And
And now-
so now,
Reset all.
reset all is where are you, can you put
bottom
your
middle.
arrow on reset? Oh, reach down the bottom, reset all. That's kind of tedious.
You got yourself into something. Yeah.
You know what, Roberta, I understand, and your first time using it, it's like anything else. You gotta work it and find the nuances that are in
All
there.
right.
It's just like everything else, and this is new to a lot of people. I mean, even some things like, thinking Jessica for getting us to the tax area, some things we just may overlook because we haven't had a need for it. So,
Okay, I have one more question. How do you get rid of previous searches? Can you just hit reset all and will they disappear?
Yes.
No, they
Yeah.
the previous searches
yeah, if
under
you,
my work.
I was following along doing the searches you did. Now they keep popping up. How do I get rid of them and not have them in my, as a search?
You hit the little X at the top there in the search bar.
Yeah, I did that. And then, but then they come in down the bottom, they start showing up again. I'll play with
Because
it. This is,
Part of my work, and that'll
yeah.
stay there until they fall off.
it just so after, say that again, Lori?
It's part of that button at the bottom that says my work next to search because you did that. So it saves all your work, which is a good feature. So it's going to stay there. You're going to see them. You can do another search. You don't have to go back to those, but eventually they'll time out and fall off.
Okay, okay, that's fine. I didn't realize I hit my work, but I must have then if that's why they're staying there. So, okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. So moving on.
moving on.
Yes.
All right, so
So we're going to move on
bring
to,
up that screen.
actually, yep. Let me get back to our slides.
It's neighborhood in your RPR Mobile. All right.
Okay, so we're gonna move on from that a little bit. I just encourage everybody to play around with it. Somebody's not muted.
Yeah, you gotta mute yourself out there, please.
But like any other new technology, there's a lot of features here, so play around with it. If you find yourself lost, go back to search, reset all your settings and hit apply. It maybe annoying, but it'll get you back to the beginning.
And keep in mind, a lot of this, because the desktop version mimics the app and vice versa, if you work on your desktop, you'll get a little more comfortable with the reports and all the other nuances of each item that's in there. And then when you're working in your app, you'll find it a lot easier as well, too. We wanted you guys to know about the app because we're mostly not with our laptops, right? We're out in the field, and having it on your phone is really, really important. So one of the things, especially if you're going to do a listing appointment, and we're going to move into like sellers a little bit, you can analyze the neighborhood. So it's someplace you've never been. Like there's places in Connecticut, I have no idea where they are, all right? Or what's about them. So, and I would just plug in that zip code or the town name, and I can start drilling down into neighborhoods and figure out, hey, what's going on there, all right? So I could be a little bit more intelligent if I'm working with a buyer
Or a seller.
or a seller. But
And in fact, all these
Yeah.
are really good questions. One of the things that Joel and I talked about when we were talking about what RPR class to do first, we thought the mobile app would be the ideal one because 9 out of 10 times we're out there with our phone in our hand, but we're not necessarily walking around with our laptop.
Right. Right. So we definitely encourage you to get on the desktop version and work with that as well. Analyze the neighborhood.
I'm in Wallingford, I just went and did pull up Wallingford.
All right. So that's
Okay, so now down at the bottom, you're gonna hit reports and
Yep.
hang on, and I will, so let's analyze the neighborhood now, okay?
Yeah. Why don't you bring it up on the screen?
Yes, sir.
We're going to go to the neighborhood report.
How do you find the neighborhood report?
Hang on, I'm gonna bring
We'll
my
get
phone
up
back
there.
up.
I'll walk you guys through it in the meantime. So when you're in the app, on the bottom toolbar, it says search, my work, trends, reports. So you want to click on that report button, and you want to create a report.
So does everybody see that at the bottom every time?
Right? Do you guys find that? All right. So as you scroll, you have a bunch of different items there, but there's market activity report, and then there's neighborhood report.
Does everybody see that? It's this button down here. Every time I move the mouse, it covers it for people on Zoom. But it's the report button down at the bottom.
So if you click on the neighborhood report, it'll give you all sorts of information that you can check or uncheck depending on what your needs are. Housing stats charts, people stats, demographics, economic stats.
Quick question, when I
Yep.
click on reports, it's blank, it says create report.
Yep,
So
that you have to click create report. Yep.
Start from scratch here.
Yep.
Sorry,
That's all right.
okay.
And then you should see this. Well, you're gonna put where you want to create the report. So this is defaulting to Guilford because that's where we are.
Okay.
But the question was, why are the sellers report property focusing? Some of them are.
Because we're not in a property. We're in an area. So we can't create a seller's report on an area. These are the only reports available to us when I have a town in there. If I had an address, they'd all be available.
So economic stats, once you decide what you want, there's a bunch of different cover page elements. And I would always recommend if you're going to send this out that you want all your information in there. All right, so make sure everything's checked off properly. And this is where you guys got to get into
gonna
the
go back
weeds
to
with
our
it
research.
and really play and make sure your settings are all appropriate. You can get your photo in here. There's so much that you could do to personalize it. You could have it set up with your personal logos, your company logos. Make sure, I just want to say there were some new rules that apply to advertising this year, and make sure you follow those. That's a whole nother class, right?
But when you click a report and then you run it, focusing on an area, not a specific property, this is the report you get. This is the neighborhood report. And what Joel was just talking about is this information that you're going to personalize in your own settings. You're going to put your name, anything you want to show up on this first screen is under settings. And when you set up your account, put your photo in, definitely do that. Otherwise, when you're sending these reports to your clients, they're not branded. I mean, they're branded to you, but your photo's not there. Your information should be there. It just looks a whole lot better.
All right, so scroll up to that neighborhood housing stats and charts. And it's obviously a little harder to see on the screen. You know, you can bring it in a little bit more.
So let's do this under trends instead of here. This is a report we're going to send.
Right, this is a deeper dive right here. All right, this is a much deeper dive. And you might need this for your own personal use if you're looking at a neighborhood that you've never been to before and you want to know. And it could also help you with pricing a house if you know what the economics are in that particular location.
So that's a quick, and again, play around with it. Play around with the reports. You might not always use this neighborhood report, but know it's available to you if should you ever need it. And it's very easy to do. It's a few clicks in, and it saves a lot of time.
All right, so going back to sellers, and we can use the market trend button. At the same time, I use it all the time with sellers that have not put their houses on the market. Well, would-be sellers, right? You know, they want to know what's going on. All right, so I keep them abreast usually every 30 days. The reports are always behind. They're in the rares,
And
right?
this is the button that Joel's talking about, this button right here, trends.
Right. So right now we're working on January. You're not going to get anything February. If you need February, you're going to have to go back into MLS, do a little deeper dive, so you can control the timeframes, right? But automatically under trends, it'll give you the previous month.
So I'm going to click trends, right? Because the data we have is always today backwards. It doesn't
Yeah,
forecast.
it's always going to, it won't forecast.
So I click that trends button at the bottom, and then where do you want to?
So just, it defaults to single family, condo, townhouse, and apartments, but we're going to do just single family.
Do you see where that is? That's this button here. Right under the address bar, it says property type. You can do any property type, but for the sake of this, we're just going to look at single family.
All right, so, and what you really want to see, wait, go back.
Okay.
Why are you,
I'm in trends.
are you in trends? I want you on this screen right here. That's your first screen that comes up, unless you're, where's yours? Technology, I swear to God. There's two things that you could do with the information that you bring up immediately on your phone. All right, you can share it. So you can share it to Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. You can create a text message. You can create a JPEG out of it, a photo or a PNG file, and you can share it. So that's what I do. I'll send it off in a text format to my clients. All right, you can put in, let's say you want to update them every single, the first of the month for the previous month and let them know what's going on. You also have, when you click that, it'll generate an image and you could automatically, at least on my phone, it'll want to know where I want to send it. So I can copy it. I can use it in social media posts. You can also, there's an AI script writer in here.
Which is amazing.
And that's a whole nother class too, by the way, right? All right, for all those that are interested. You can create a video script out of it, social campaign, you can analyze the metrics, you can tell it what you want it to do, and it'll do it for you. It's
under trends.
So it's in your trends. And for some reason, Lori's phone.
Yeah, my phone's on a different screen.
Yeah, I don't know why yours is.
Because I was playing with this.
Get out of there.
That's where it has me too, where you were, Laura.
Yeah, go back in there.
It's, yeah, no, it's,
Wow, what the hell is with you?
I was playing with it last night and
I think she screwed up
I'm in
her whole
residential
phone.
market trends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where it put me when I clicked on trends as well in that same screen.
Oh, you know why? I think I switched to beta.
You know what? Go to the zip code. You're in Guilford. That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. No.
Wow.
Yep.
Interesting. I don't know, for all of you guys that have it on your phone, you should have, when you hit that market trend, it should be following you. All right. So I'm in Guilford right now, and it's following me right into Guilford. And it says market trends for Guilford right underneath that.
Debbie, hit search to get back to the map.
Yep.
So hit search to get back to the map. I'm going to go back to where we are. I'm going to reset all my filters. And then I'm going to go to trends and see if that makes a difference.
How did you reset all of it?
I go to search.
Yep.
I go to filters up at the top right. And then reset all.
Hit apply. I don't know why you're.
Yeah, I was playing around with it last night.
Why is that? That's weird.
I
Oh, there it is. You just go back. See, you have your share button right there.
Yeah, but it's not my AI script.
Yeah.
I think because I went to the beta last night.
See, she was getting ready for class and she hit the wrong button.
Yep.
Didn't I tell you not to do that? So any of these, then, so right now what I'm looking for in Guilford, I wish Lori would have it on her screen, but it's telling me in Guilford, we're still in a seller's market.
So I'm
You
gonna
guys see
stop
that on your
sharing.
screen under trends? For January 2025 market type, seller's market. It's giving me key details. Months of inventory is 1.31.
This is what Joel's talking about here.
Right. Yeah, this far right area here is what you should see when the minute you put in your trends, plug that trends button. So Lori, this screen is in Gilbert, Arizona. Who knows where that is? I have no idea.
Phoenix.
Phoenix area? I knew somebody would know.
I have a question.
Yep.
When you do your neighborhood report
Mm-hmm.
and it creates it,
Mm-hmm.
where does it put it? Under my work?
Mm-hmm. You should find it under my work. As long as and usually you download it too.
Does it update if you go back into it in 3 weeks? Will it take into account what changes there have been?
There are certain things that will update, and depending on the report that you're using, it will update. They're constantly improving this thing. When I tell you, it for us, it's like constant, and you guys can see the same thing. Once you're signed up and you want to get alerted to trends and things that are happening, they'll be sending you email of all sorts of things that are happening. They also have classes. So when you're on the desktop version in RPR, in Smart MLS, right, there's a ton of learning opportunities. And they take you through a much deeper dive than we're doing here today. This is really over. I mean, we're doing a class in, was it April? April for CE credit.
And I'll know how to get back to my trends by
Right.
then.
So and that's just going to be on listings and CMAs. And we got, 3-hour class on that.
I just dropped the information on that CE class in the chat box.
Thank you.
So when I did the neighborhood,
Yep.
it didn't say that to my work.
It didn't? I'd have to look at it for
I have
you.
the listing.
Yeah. But it didn't save your neighborhood report?
But I don't
And you
have
downloaded
anything
the
that says
report?
neighborhood report.
Yeah, I'll have to look at it for you. So some of the other information, I don't know. Oh, there it is, Lori. She's got it. She's got it back.
Oh, you know
All right.
why? Because I didn't have an actual address in there.
All right, so she's on Ivor Avenue in East Haven.
Okay.
All right. So they're looking at Ivor Avenue. You gotta go
Actually,
back
let
on
me
the screen.
reshare. Okay. So if anyone's on that alternate screen, put an actual address in there. It doesn't do it with a.
She doesn't have an actual address, but it got her the right one.
Yeah, you should, if you're in
She's special.
Guilford, yeah. You won't need an actual address. You need a zip code or a town.
Well, now I got back there somehow. Screen broadcast. Yes. All right, let me get back to RPR here. This is a screen Joel was trying to show you guys. So yeah, Joel was trying to show you this trends at the bottom here.
All right,
So when you
scroll it up, I'll show. All right, so we are in East Haven right now, and it's telling us months of inventory for January. It's 0.8, which means houses are selling pretty damn fast, right? However, look at your sold to list price percentage. 97.4%, it's down. So sellers aren't getting full price, at least as of January in East Haven. All right, that's important to know because when you might have a seller that's expecting what?
offers over us.
Over asking. Over asking. It's not happening in that market. Right?
Is that an average?
It's the median.
Median.
Right, and it doesn't offer, it only offers the median, it doesn't offer the average.
About the data. Hit the button, see it right there?
Hey, Lori,
Yeah,
I'm on that page, but all I see is months of inventory under key details. I don't have any of the other things that you have.
under the trends button.
Yeah. I'm on it's the same
Try
page
popping
you're
a
on.
specific address in there, like just
Oh,
put in
okay.
an actual
Gotcha.
address.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, first, it gives you the number of properties. The pretty cool thing here is it shows you new listings, it shows you new pendings, it shows you pending listings, but it also shows you sold and off market, sold by public records, which is
I
hard
got
to
it.
get. So when you can compare, or you can add to your CMA some of the off-market properties that did change hands and the values there. So if you're looking for a value for an appraiser, sometimes you might want to look at some of those properties that you're not going to find on MLS.
To answer your question, it should be median on that, yeah.
It
I-
only
yeah.
sorts by median. It doesn't sort
Yeah.
by average.
Right.
And another one that I found, it's good if you're gonna give a referral to somebody, your client has a property in a different state. I just searched and I found a property that
Sure.
the client has, and it gave me information.
This is nationwide data. Not every single MLS is on there, but almost all of them are. And it's nationwide data, to your point. You can look up a property in Massachusetts or in California and get the same data we're doing here in Connecticut. What Joel was,
Do all brokerages subscribe to this? There was, when, in the past, there was some brokers that didn't want their information in RPR. So that's changed.
We haven't, Kevin, Berkshire, are they putting their information in? At one point they weren't.
Berkshire is, yeah. Berkshire
In
changed.
RPR.
Yeah.
Did they now do it?
Berkshire changed, but
Okay.
I think William Pitt was one of the holdouts.
Yeah.
oh,
I don't know if they do.
And could be.
it would show as off market. It would still be there. It's just going to show as off market, even though it is on market. So the data is still there.
Okay,
It just
but
doesn't show as
wouldn't
on
show up
market.
in the,
Right.
you know, in the act.
If they're not allowing the feed to go into MLS of that data, it won't feed here.
The cool thing here that Joel was trying to explain before, though, is you have this create a script button and then share. So if you're looking for social content to share, does everybody see that create script? So if wherever you are, you click that create script and it's going to give you options. So what do I want my tone to be? It could be professional, it could be engaging, it could be conversational, or it could just be friendly, casual. So let's say I want a conversational script. And who's my audience? Look at the list of audiences you have there. Buyers, sellers, first time, move up, investors, luxury home downsizers.
Well, if it was me, I'd want sellers.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, so we want
sellers.
sellers, and we want it to be conversational. So now, do I want a video script, a social campaign, or do I just want to analyze the metrics and create a script? So say I want a social campaign. I just click that button. And then it puts it to any of the social platforms you're going on. So
It gives you a choice.
it gives you a choice, right, of social platforms. And you can copy it. So look at what this just generated. It's at the top, Christina. Scroll back up. But we'll go through this and I'll go back to that so you see where the button is. But
Yeah,
this is
it like would pop up briefly for a second and then it would disappear. I'm on trends and I keep scrolling up and it just keeps showing me like the median estimated property value section. That's okay. I can figure that out maybe one-on-one with you guys at some point. I'm not sure what's going on.
And I'll go back to that in a minute. I just want everyone to see the script that it created is a pretty detailed script. And then you can copy, you can export it to Word, PDF, Google Docs, or you can send it by email. Say you want to email a database if you have Constant Contact or something. You can do any of those things. So let's go back. So the create script is up there, just below the property type, single family. So now I narrowed that down to just single family. Say I want single family, I want more data. I want single family condo and townhouse and apartments. It's going to change that. And you can do that same create script. Once you have your script, you can click share, and then you're going to tell it what platform you want to share to. Do I want a JPEG? Do I want to copy it and email it? Do I want to send it via text? Do I want an Instagram post, a LinkedIn post, Facebook? It's going to...
Your accounts have to be set up in here though. So, yeah, wherever you're going to set up your accounts, your profile, it's easier on your laptop. So once you set up your profile, it's going to ask you for all your what do you call them? Your handles?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I just know they're in there.
That's a good point. Do all of that when you're in front of your computer. The point of today's class is to know what you have on the go. If you're sitting waiting for a client and they're running late, a lot of people in here I know I follow on social media and they're great posters. So they're sitting there, they create a quick script from their car and they post. So the point of today's class is to show you what you can do with what you have in the palm of your hand. But certainly, like Joel said, when you're setting up your profile and you're adding your picture and your Facebook account and your Instagram account, do that from the desktop just to make your life easier.
So getting back, I'm going to switch gears just one more time for sellers. So you get that phone call and you're in your car or whatever, you get the address and you want to get some details about this property before you go in and see them. So some of the things that you can get that's important is how long they've owned the house.
So
We like that, right?
Yep.
That's great information for us to
So
know.
let's
If
open
they
this
bought
up.
it a year ago, 2 years ago, might make us a little nervous, right? But if
So-
they bought it 10 years ago, 20 years ago,
Again,
Right.
I clicked into a property. I just selected a random property. And then I'm going to scroll down to get that information that Joel was just talking about. So I'm going to scroll all the way down. So there's the public information. There's the listing information. You could see if there's any differences there. You have these four here are
Yes,
wonderful tools.
Right, so let's talk about that for a second. Right in here, you can create a CMA value out of it right away. You can create that CMA immediately. All right there on the spot. You can do estimate their equity in that property because you're going to have an idea of what they owe.
It's a great
Yeah.
net sheet, seller's net sheet, which is huge.
Do people use seller net sheets? Anybody want to commit? It's a good
But
tool.
you click on these and you could, so let's look at this seller net sheet. You're sitting with your clients, you ask them, what the estimated payoff is. So when you click add loan, if it's select a record, it will tell you what the loan records are. So you have talking points when you're sitting there with your seller. Have you paid this one off? Do you still owe that? So when you're doing your seller net sheet, you have facts here and you would say, oh, I was able to find this. And they may say, oh no, I've paid that off. So let's pick one of those. And then they told you something that wasn't on there. You ask them what their interest rate is. Let's say they had a 5% interest rate. And you would put the date they started. We took that from public record, so it automatically populated. But if they're giving you this information that wasn't in public record, you would pop it in there and you would click save, and it estimates your net cash to seller after they pay off the loan. But obviously you would put in the other things in here. You'd put in your compensation. You'd potentially put in any other fees. You're not going to use all of this, but you're certainly going to use some of it. But you can put in anything you want to give them their seller's net sheet.
So, we got a lot of veterans in the room. We have some new people in the room. But do you see how powerful the information is that when we're going into a house? I always believe that when we're working with, especially a seller, they're asking us to come in, we're finding, want to know their why, right? But they have an expectation of us, I would expect, right? They expect that we know the market and that we know trends and that we have this information. And when we can go in there loaded with this, it really increases our value, right? Increases our value and makes it much more likely that they're going to hire us, right? And sometimes we may only have one opportunity to make an impression on somebody. And I think having this information at your fingertips is going to be very valuable. And for buyers, because we all know now, we have to impress buyers just like we have to impress sellers. We gotta prove our value. And these go a long way with doing that.
Are there any questions on any of these buttons here? So I know we're kind of getting to the end.
I would take an hour, and I would go through this. I would also, again, encourage you guys get on the desktop version. It's so powerful. There's so much information in there. We're just literally hitting, the surface.
Is there an RPR help desk?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a help
There's a
desk.
phone number and a help desk,
Yeah.
and they do answer yes.
Yeah.
I called them in 2018, they're excellent.
Yeah. NAR really wants to push this program. We want them to keep it. And the only way they're going to keep it is if we're using it, right?
So
There's
call
a lot of money invested in it. And it's, Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Great point. Yep.
And
Yeah.
I've taken a number of them and they've been really helpful.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. They're on-demand webinars. If you want to learn a little bit more, you can take this mobile class all over again on one of the RPR webinars. So thank you for bringing that up.
Thanks, Jessica. Jessica's been really helpful today.
Thank you.
Yeah, so when you're in Smart MLS and you hit the RPR app, it should automatically bring you in with your credentials, all right? And then you can go through there and definitely see all the courses that are available. There's live ones, there's recorded ones. You sign up for getting the information. It's constant. Like we're constant, and they're constantly improving it on top of it.
Yes. There's a new beta out that's going to make this even better. And I know some of us are licensed in multiple states. You can put in your credentials for additional MLSs, and you'll be able to brand it to whatever state you happen to be working in at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for us on the app?
So let me answer this one question. What encouraged you to come to this class today? You guys put it in the chat as well?
So I can tell you, for me,
That's great.
I do go to RPR, but I
Yeah.
just put in the address and I just print that one sheet. Like I
Mhm.
haven't done anything else with it.
Okay.
I haven't played around with it, but I do that all the time when I'm going on a listing.
Yeah, I'm glad you're using it.
So I use it
Yeah.
for that, but I'm like, I know there's so much more that I'm not doing and not using it for, so that's why I came here today and I've learned a ton from you
And this
guys.
is even super
Yeah, this is
abbreviated, like Joel
Right, but
said.
it's already a lot more than what I'm doing, so yeah.
Very
Right.
cool.
And I didn't have the app, so now I do.
And I'm glad people are using it because to Joel's point, this is an NAR benefit, and for not using it, why would they keep it?
Great.
You know, and it's something we in the profession use, and it, you know, we don't want to end up going to Zillow if we don't have this. Yeah.
Plus, a lot of this stuff is garbage. Really is way off base.
Sure. Exactly. So
This is much better.
Yeah, and the nice thing about this, there's no advertising, there's no pop-ups, right? You know, you get in there, you're just doing your research, what you need, you print out what you want, you email what you want.
That's why
You
we're
share with social media what you want, right? You know, it's all positioned to elevate our credibility with our clients.
and it's only available to us, and it's wholly owned by NAR, which is big. So we're trying to get this in front of as many people as we can, because like a couple people here, I think people were signing in for the first time when they came in. So thank you all for being here, but bring it back to your offices, bring it back to the
Yeah, and
agents you
so
know.
this was our first time doing this one, so I mean, it was a little, what did you guys think? I mean, like, come on, yeah, thank you.
We appreciate you taking the time. To help us.
Right?
Thank you.
Did you know it was
This
the
is a
first
great
time?
benefit.
Oh, okay, good, good.